All right. Austin, we're live.
We are? Oh, mine says we got 10 seconds still. Yep, welcome in. The Sports Wheel... Actually, you say the name. Say the name for
Sports Wheels and Reels,
Okay.
featuring Austin Horton and Jeff Miller.
No,
or Jeff Miller
nah,
and Austin Horton.
I mean,
we'll go that direction.
The top billing goes to the guy who's paying for it. So,
Yeah,
and
paid for these fancy microphones
exactly,
and such, right?
yeah. And honestly, microphones of which my voice has never... I've never had this nice of a microphone to talk into. Yeah.
Your previous employer didn't...
No comment on that specifically.
It's good to be back on air.
This is so
It's been
much
a couple
fun.
months.
A couple months plus 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, we had some issues. We had COVID. We had babies. There were issues that kept this from starting up, but we're excited to be back on.
There was. Yeah, we are very excited. And the reason I asked you to say the name is a very Utah accent on the Sports Wills and Rills.
I put the Riz. Do I have the Utah?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
Everyone else on that we've been talking to on the sales floor and stuff. What's the name of the podcast? And I say Sports Wheels and Reels. They go Sports Wills and Reels. Yeah.
You get the little extra.
Sports Wills and Reels, right here on Mark Miller Subaru. But yeah, it's fun to be back, and I feel like we haven't really missed too much of a beat because I've been seeing you. We've been talking.
Oh, totally.
And I did want to start right here and just publicly on Facebook, Twitter, wherever else we're doing this. Thank you for saving my
absolutely.
my
We're
rear
excited
end.
to have you.
So,
You're doing a great job.
my wife is very, very thankful. My kids are very thankful. And I'm actually I wasn't sure. Honestly, I wasn't sure.
I knew right from the get-go that you'd be a great car salesperson.
Well, I don't know
Product
how I'm...
specialist.
Yeah, let's get that.
We
Come
don't
on.
have car sales.
And we don't have a
We're not
dealership. It's a store.
We're product specialists.
Yeah, right.
It's a whole different world.
I wasn't sure how I would take to it, and I'm actually really liking it.
Exciting. And now all of our viewers could come on down and buy a car from you.
Please.
You don't have to send them to other people.
Please do. Yeah.
Come support Austin.
Please come and buy from me and nobody else. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll talk about car stuff in our second segment for sure.
But I did want to say it's good to be back in front of a microphone talking to anyone that will listen to me talk because I've missed doing the radio thing.
You have a lot of fans out there that have missed you.
I don't know that I have fans. I think people have missed hearing me complain all the time. There's Tony Rossi, Tony, another product specialist. Not happy that I said only buy from me, yeah. Which I've bought 2 cars from him myself. But yeah, excited to be back to just glab and gab and whatever. So this will be every Friday.
Yep.
We're aiming for 11 a.m. on Fridays.
But it's going to be recorded and it's going to be put on as a podcast out there so you can get it whenever you want. But what we're going to try and do is we're going to try to have some interaction during the podcast where we're doing it on Facebook Live. People can send in questions, things they want to talk about, and we'll see what we can get to.
Yeah, so get on, if you're watching us live, you already know this, but if you're listening to this later, get on Facebook, the Sports Wheels and Reels podcast. Give us a like and make sure you follow that. And also on Twitter, the SWR podcast is our Twitter name. So hop on and comment live or send us some thoughts. I have an idea that later on down the road, maybe we set up like a Google voicemail.
Yeah.
And people can leave messages during the week for us. And,
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Things they want to talk about, things they want the show to go.
Yeah, complaints, that sort of thing. I'm anticipating a lot of complaints.
Lots and lots of complaints.
Otherwise, I'm not doing my job. So,
yeah. The nice thing is there's a lot less things. You could actually swear on this if you wanted to.
Could I really?
We have no dump button.
Josh Goldsmith knows all about that. People who listen to Car Sense back in the day. But yeah. Hey, we do need to start, though.
No one even has a dump button, do we? There's no one. So if you
Let's
swear,
try it.
If you swear, it's just going to happen.
Let's try it. If you have kids in the car, no, I'm just kidding. I can't. I'm still nervous. Poop mouth. Why would you say that, Ron?
That's going to come up later in our movie segment.
It is. Yeah, it is for sure.
It definitely is.
But I wanted, and Jeff, you wanted to as well. We got to pay tribute to our guy Tom Barberi.
Absolutely.
Who's left us now, and he's with us. I'd be shocked if he's not taking a peek at this today.
Yeah. So you don't know. So those who don't know the history of it, we had Utah Car Sense. Tom was the original host, and he was the host back with the Barber Brothers back in the day.
Yep.
When we took over the show almost 8 years ago, probably.
I think it was coming up on 8.
7 or 8 years ago when we took over the show, and Tom stayed on with me, and Tom and I ran that show for a good few years until he couldn't do it anymore, and he went home, and you came on, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
Tom is an incredible guy. Utah by 5.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Yep.
He's the home of Utah tailgating. He's the father of Utah tailgating, and wishes best to Gina and the rest of the family. He's an incredible human being. We all miss him.
He was a national force in radio, and then certainly changed the way radio was done in the state of Utah.
Oh, absolutely.
He made it. He was a disruptor, but not irreverently, not disrespectfully, but he was a disruptor.
Oh, he was absolutely a disruptor.
Yeah. He changed things, and it was no longer step in line with the conglomeration.
Do you remember what his book was called?
No.
It was, I'm going to butcher it. I have it in my cabinet over here, but it's Teaching Adulthood in Utah or something like that. I think it was like teaching
How to be an adult in Salt Lake City.
It was something like that. We just make fun of all the liquor policies and all the stuff that they did in Utah where they just don't trust anybody.
Yeah, right. The stuff that makes us unique here in this community, he was the first to make it okay to admit that we are a little weird here sometimes.
Yeah. A little bit.
And love ourselves
funny
for
thing.
it.
And he was the first to be able to make fun of ourselves.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally. And he did a ton of things for legislature, and the things he's changed in the state are too many to count.
Yeah. I have an admission to make. There was, because I produced a lot of those shows when he was hosting with you, and then later I came on as the host, of course, but whenever I was having like a really bad day or a bad week, there was a certain episode that I saved and sent to myself so that I could always go revisit it because Tom had such a calming presence.
Oh, he had the best radio voice on the planet.
And it was one of the Love Promise partners at the time, the Children's Center.
Okay.
Teresa Kansapolsky was the director that, and he and you and she were going back and forth about the Children's Center, and I kept that, and I always go back and listen to it, and
I love it.
I should probably send it to Gina or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And he was as old school as they come, too.
Oh, yeah.
He would show up every time we had a thing with a folder, a nice manila folder, and it was filled with newspaper clippings.
Yeah.
And it was newspaper clippings that he had for all the stories he wanted to talk to. I'm sitting over here on my laptop. I got it all in tabs ready to go.
Right.
And he's sitting there with newspaper clippings, reading off that. You're somewhere
paper.
in the middle.
So you
haven't figured out Apple yet?
No, and I would never will.
All the new fancier technologies, but you're right between it.
I'm a Napple, which means never apple. I'm a Napple guy, but
it's true.
I'm a rare breed around here, by the way,
but
to not have that.
Should we get into our first segment?
Let's jump in. So we are going to talk sports, we're going to talk wheels, we're going to talk reels, and whatever else.
We'll do 3 segments. We'll have little breaks between them. So we'll start with sports.
Let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Jeff, you're a big fan and supporter of the Jazz. Most of our followers are going to be here because they are fans of the Jazz or sort of the sports here in the community. And the Jazz...
It's been a little rough lately.
Lately, it's been really rough.
We miss a guy. It's this guy.
That guy right there.
This guy right here.
He's been cleared now. He and Rudy Gay have both been cleared from
Sunday
protocols, but
they really could use him on the defensive end.
That is very, very obvious. Yeah,
I think we play a defensive style of we're just going to funnel everybody to Rudy, and we tried to keep playing that defensive style, and there was no Rudy back there.
I liked who was the last game against the not the Raptors, the one they had no Cleveland. Thank you.
Well, Cleveland started 3 7-footers against our 6'4" center Bruce O'Neal. Got your junior high team out there.
And in the pregame,
got out rebounded by like 20, I think, 15 or 20.
So, yeah. Someone asked Coach Snyder in the pregame, who's going to play center? And he chuckled out loud and said, well, that's just the name of a position. We're not going to really have a center tonight. So, and they didn't.
No. But they were still trying to play like they did.
Yeah.
And so, they're just letting guys in for layups and threes. It's just ugly. My favorite play of the game was the Whiteside play. Did you see that play? So Whiteside gets the ball on a rebound, throws it away to a guy, then looks over at Mike Conley and goes like, sorry, my bad, while the guy dunks on him.
What do you want from me?
It's like, and Conley's looking like, play defense.
Yeah, do something.
Don't just throw it to the other team.
Use one of your 6 fouls at the least.
It's ugly, but I think we're going to be okay. I mean, the Jazz, they're still a top 3 team in the West. They just need Rudy back. The question is what happens playoff time. And I know you're a playoff pessimist. We all know this about you.
I'm a pessimist, period, but then you get to playoffs and I'm a doubter.
Does this team stay as is?
No, we're coming up on a deadline, and I don't have any insight. I've never had really any inside trading or anything like that with the Jazz. But I look at the situation with Ryan Smith bringing in Danny Ainge, and Justin Zanuck is kind of on...
But Danny Ainge is an off-season trader. He's not a mid-season trader.
No, I know. but he also could.
He's not a guy that likes in the middle of the action.
He's
He likes
also
to
a guy
create
that
teams in the offseason.
he's also a guy that's kind of looking over the shoulder, or has Jay-Z looking over his shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't think the problem is there's not that much out there. First of all, to go get, you got two guys or so that you're probably are your trade block guys.
Donovan
right?
Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
No.
Oh no, not them.
No,
Oh,
I don't.
oh.
That'd probably be a mistake.
Mike Conley and no.
Can you get Kevin Durant? I think Kevin Durant would really do well here. in Salt Lake City.
yeah.
Let's do Durant and Irving. We'll get both of them.
Why not?
Yeah,
We'll go
I
for
think
it all.
they both do really well.
In the typical fan speak, just make it happen.
Hey, Irving can
Make
play
it
home
happen.
games.
Yeah, you could play home
See?
games.
So you
But I
get
think
him
you're
another
talking about this
30 games a
guy,
year.
probably.
Yeah, I put Joe on your side because I don't know if Joe makes it past the deadline.
So
and maybe Clarkson.
So, well, we could line these guys up, I guess, in
We have
most
some already traded
likelihood of going. And
No is Mitchell.
the Golden Griff, I don't think he has eligibility left. So but yeah, Mitchell and Gobert over there.
Ricky Rubio's out for the season, and Crowder's a son.
That's right. Yeah, and so it's Joe. Sorry, you got to be traded. So, and gotta be is not the right, but I think we can agree. It appears that Joe Ingles has slowed down.
He doesn't have he's not going to the hoop as much. He's not doing his drives to the hoop, dish off, fake out dish, make the lefty layup. He does one or two a game where he used to do 3 or 4.
Yeah.
He's timid to shoot. He's not as aggressive on the defensive end.
Does it look like
He's still complaining to the refs just as much.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he got ejected last night.
He got ejected from a game where we had like 8 guys. How do you get
2
ejected
nights
from a
ago,
game you have 8 guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's
You could just see Quinn's face just like, oh, God. Joe.
and it was over.
Stupid stuff.
It was a horrible
Oh,
missed call.
Tony Brothers is the worst referee in history.
That's hard to say because there's a lot of bad referees.
He's worse than Javi.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's just horrible.
So I think yeah, you might have Tony Brothers might.
And now you've got a bunch of refs that have never reffed in the NBA before because of COVID. They're bringing in a bunch of these refs that have reffed like 1 game, 2 games.
And it doesn't show at all.
No, they're very good.
It's really terrible. But him getting ejected, it was kind of silly for him to do that on a night when he was just back and they needed players in the worst way. But he admitted as such. So, but hey, I do think that if you're looking at when you're looking at trades, you have to go with what do you have that will get you something in return that's worth making a trade in the first place.
And is there that 3-and-D guy that basically they wanted another Royce O'Neal? Did you get another Royce O'Neal out there anywhere?
Well,
Is Pascal that guy?
no, I don't think so.
He's not quick enough, I don't think.
Yeah,
To stay in front of the
and
big
I like
Pascal.
Eric Pascal.
He's played great
Yeah.
last little bit.
The value that you have, the values that you have for trade pieces, I think Joe Ingles is there. I think Rudy Gay's name comes up there, but again, we were talking before the show. That acquisition was really about the postseason.
Yeah, Rudy Gay's there to just get himself acclimated, and he's there for April and May.
Yeah.
He's not there for right now.
And then we think of a contract like Jordan Clarkson.
Clarkson's a movable contract.
It's a movable contract. He brings value to the team that would be trading for him.
Here's the crazy thing is even through all the stuff without Rudy Gobert, our offense has still been top ranked. We just can't stop anybody. We're
Well,
like 30th ranked defense in the past week or something like that. It's horrific. So do you need a Jordan Clarkson off the bench? Could you get a guy who maybe gets you 5 points less but actually plays defense?
I don't know. What are the names out there?
Right? That's a hard thing.
And so none of the trades, so the trade proposals I've seen from fan sites or even reporters that just play this game of here's what I would do if I were the Jazz, none of them have really struck me as, that's a no-brainer for both sides.
Get Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I'm a Ben Simmons doubter. I'll just say that right now. But anyway, I don't think that the team stays as is, but I also don't know that there's going to be a trade made that takes the Jazz from 30th without Rudy to 15th without Rudy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see next week's games because next week's games you're going to see Rudy come back in the lineup, hopefully on Sunday, and right the ship. And I think we win a few games next week. And
Who they got? The Lakers, the Nuggets,
you got Nuggets, you got the Lakers, and
Rockets.
you got the Nuggets, Lakers back to back. You got Sunday,
That's
Monday,
true. That's true.
and then the Rockets on Wednesday. So those will be the 3 games we get before our next show. Let's see what happens. We'll talk about it a little bit more next week.
Yep. So, but it's exciting. I think the Jazz you can keep them in that conversation, But right now, I think their stock has definitely got that red down arrow next to it.
Yeah, but it's COVID.
It's COVID. Everything
See,
is
you're
COVID.
a pessimist.
Everything's COVID.
You're playing without your starting center. You were playing with no centers actually the other night. In all fairness, like, to like win a game when you literally don't have a 7-footer. Really, you don't have a guy over 6'9".
Yeah. Good luck.
You don't do that in the NBA.
Like
6'9" teams in the NBA don't win games.
It's like even against the Cleveland Cavaliers team, it's not going to
start
work.
3 7-footers.
And they had 3 7 guys.
Talking about the worst possible lineup you could have against no centers.
It was a bad matchup.
Let's move on.
Before we move on from sports, let's talk about BYU, Utah, and Utah State real quick.
What an incredible year.
In the football seasons that they had, none more surprising, obviously, I think, than Utah State.
Oh my gosh, Utah State was supposed to be horrific.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
You're switching out coach. And,
How did he not win Coach of the Year?
Well, that's because it's Utah State, and it's a national award. And, yeah.
So he didn't even win Mountain West Coach of the Year, did
No, he did not.
he? So, I mean,
That
he took a team that won, 2 games last year?
Was it only 2? Well,
3?
still.
They were bad.
I thought they'd win 2 this year.
Yeah.
And
they win the Mountain West and then win the bowl game.
Yep.
That was killer.
It was an oversight, to say that the Mountain West didn't vote him as coach.
Will they be that good next year?
I don't know. Can he build on that? Yeah, he's had some transfers. They essentially switched quarterbacks with Wyoming.
No.
Peasley's at Wyoming, and the guy from Wyoming's come to Logan. So we'll see. I was actually worried for a minute about Blake Anderson's job with some of the comments that he made. What are you doing there?
Good to have a good season. Probably saved his job.
And he got an extension.
Wins fix a lot.
Yeah, it does.
You think the Utes are overhyped for next year?
No, I don't. I don't think the Utes are overhyped
at all. They got everyone coming back. I mean, they're losing some defense for sure. They're losing Sewell. They're losing Lloyd. But
Tavian Thomas deciding to come back was huge.
Huge.
He might win the Doak next year.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be a legit. I mean, he set the Utah record for touchdowns this season. He's going to build on it this year.
Even after being benched for
he's going to be the starter from game 1 because he fumbled a bunch in his second game out. But you got starting quarterback coming back, 2 starting running backs.
Jackson Dart transferring. No, I'm not breaking news there. I'm just having a little fun.
He can't come to Utah. He's no way Jackson Dart sits on the bench.
Would you start him over Rising?
Right, that would cause a quarterback controversy, right? I mean, you'd have to think about it.
Well, not only just over Rising, but Jaquindon Jackson and Bryson Barnes.
Did anyone ever figure out why he didn't play in the Rose Bowl?
I haven't heard exactly why.
Either.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird that
he was either hurt or they're changing his position or something happened. I don't know. He's such an athlete, though.
The Utes are so famous for that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just to take these ridiculous athletes that are quarterbacks or whatever. I mean, Britton Covey was a quarterback coming out.
For example.
Chase Hansen.
Well, Brian Blecken, that was the first one I can remember. Yeah. That was supposed to be a quarterback.
Well, Chase Hansen, they made him an NFL safety.
Yep,
he was one of the best quarterbacks in Utah history.
He played linebacker and safety out there. So, and then the Cougars, BYU.
There's a team? What team?
Yeah. Utah fans out there. Barberry would love that, Joe.
Barberry would. We got a lot of bad calls on that.
They followed up their COVID season that people thought they were inflated and kind of showed that they were better than a lot of people thought they were. So a fun college football
season.
It's fun.
I think you're going to have the same thing next year. I think you're going to have 3 awesome college football teams in Utah again.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I hope
you had more teams in the top 25 from Utah than Texas or Florida.
Take that,
football towns.
Have that, Florida and Texas. All right, we're going to take a break here from our sports. We'll come back in just a few minutes after some commercials and talk wheels. And as much fun as it is to talk sports,
Utah Auto Show. We'll talk all about it.
The Auto Show is here. We'll talk about it next here on Sports Wills and Rills.
My name is Sierra Hudson. I'm a wife, mom, business owner, and my Subaru is safety for my family. So my husband Colton and I have 3 beautiful little girls. We love adventures. There's just so much to do outside, and we love being able to jump in our Subaru and just go. We've brought all 3 of our babies home from the hospital in our Subaru. So Subaru really is just a brand that's part of our family as well. My husband, he actually surprised me for Christmas in 2019 with a Subaru Ascent, and that was just the best Christmas present ever. So this past winter, it was January, we decided to take a spontaneous trip to St. George. My husband he hit black ice or just snow, and we just started to slide. I was in the back seat and I was just making sure, kind of bracing for my kids to be safe. And it was just one of those moments where you truly feel helpless. We hit into the cement barrier and then rotated and hit a FedEx freight truck. And after we hit that truck, we spun again. The airbags had gone off and like everything was fine at that point. Our Subaru, put its life on the line for us. And I just thought that was, I know it's a car, but it means so much more to us and our family. So there's no other car I want to drive. Subaru is one of the safest brands, and people can tell you that it has all the safety features, all the bells and whistles, but I've personally lived that. I mean, we went through such a horrific accident, and I can just attest that the Subaru truly is as safe as they say. The Ascent has Subaru EyeSight, and that is just an extra pair of eyes on the road, which I know I could use, and I'm sure you other moms could use as well. So when we were looking to get another Subaru, the only place that I could trust was Mark Miller Subaru. At Mark Miller Subaru, they have their Promise Price program, which is when you go in, the price you see is the price you pay. They're not haggling you. I mean, their salespeople aren't even paid on commission. So you just feel so comfortable when you walk in the doors. And as a woman, I just feel like I'm not being, talked down to. It's just such a great overall experience. As a mom with 3 busy kids, I don't have the time to drop them off places, so it's so nice that I can bring them here when I'm getting services done, looking for a new car. They have a cafeteria, they have a kids' play area, and it just makes the experience completely just relaxing, like it should be. I love Mark Miller Subaru, and so many other people do too, but hey, don't take my word for it. Just Google them. I mean, you'll see how many positive reviews come up. Subaru is a brand you can trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the local Utah retailer that you will love.
Jeff Miller there. I'm Austin Horton, live from Jeff's office here at the Midtown location, 3535 South State. Come on down and see us, and that's where we're going to pick up right here, Jeff, and talk wheels. We're going to talk auto industry. And
It's crazy.
It's insanity.
It's crazy. And it's crazy everywhere, not just here.
How is it running an auto business right now?
Different. It's very different.
Okay.
We've gotten to the point, for years, we've always had low inventory in the Subaru world. We've talked about this on our show forever, is that we've always had 20-day inventories and 30-day inventories. Right now, we've got a 0-day inventory. Mm-hmm. There are literally 0 cars on our lot you could come and buy right now for a new car. There's some used cars on a lot and pre-owned and certifieds, but it's weird. Literally every car is on an order. So it's just a change for our customers, as you've dealt with them yourself, to have to learn that you can't get that immediate gratification. If you want a new car, you've got to wait a couple months.
Yeah, and in some cases, I've heard from some customers that they've enjoyed that because it gives them a couple months to get a larger down payment than they had originally planned. So, and
that's the funny thing is, there's a lot of places like in Japan. This is the norm. Like Japanese dealerships, a lot of them, they don't have the space, especially the downtown ones, so they can't store inventory.
That makes sense.
So most of them are buy to order. In a lot of countries, it's buy to order. This is more of a norm. The U.S. has always been known. The way that, so NADA, what they teach is that you want about a 30 to 45 day, is how we all have always looked at it. Some of the domestic brands keep a 60 to 90 days.
Oh my gosh.
Of inventory on the ground. We sell about 150 new cars a month when we have inventory. So to have a 90-day inventory, we'd have to have 450 cars on the ground. We've never had 450 cars on the ground.
And then when you think about it this way, that's a brand new car, but it's actually 3 months old.
Yeah.
It's been sitting on a lot for 3 months.
The nice thing is that every car, basically, we get a truck showing up, and all you product specialists are out there, ooh, is one of them mine? Is one of them mine?
It's Christmas.
I get to sell a car tomorrow.
That's right. Exactly.
It's a whole different way of doing it, but it's going to normalize. We're starting to see our allocations from Subaru come, and I'm talking to some of the other manufacturers, and they're starting to produce cars again. So I think you're probably still 4 or 5 months from really normal or somewhat normal. But I think by September, October, and that's going to be a little dangerous time in the used car world. So you got to be careful in the used car world, because once the new car inventory normalizes, used car prices are going to dip. So if you're trying to trade in your used car, I would do it sooner rather than later.
That's good advice. Yeah. Bring it in now.
And be careful when you're out there, and there's some retailers out there that are charging over sticker. Understand the fact that that's going to go away. And whatever you paid over sticker, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So be careful. We don't sell cars over sticker. Everything on our lot's under sticker. But you got to be careful with that if you're out there buying cars. Because I was at the auto show today, and I'll tell you, there are a lot of manufacturers that are very proud of their product. So some of those prices,
To say it politically.
some of those prices are crazy. Like
Yeah.
you look at some of these prices on cars, you're like, that car was like 20 grand less like 4 years ago. It's like, it looks
Unbelievable.
fancy, but
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if it's 20 grand extra fancy.
100% worth more.
I mean, we
yeah.
looked at that, the Ford electric car, the Mach 5, and
Yeah.
it's like 65 grand.
With less than 300 miles on the range,
Yeah.
which
it-
for me, that's craziness.
It's crazy. I mean, we're gonna have our electric car come out. It's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be, we're guessing probably $40,000 or $50,000, and that's the exciting thing for the auto show. So for those who want to go to the auto show, it does start this week. It is open right now. I just actually came from there. I did a couple of interviews. That's why we had to delay the show, but it's open through Monday actually, because Monday's a holiday, Martin Luther King Day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're looking 11 a.m. to 10 today, 10 to 10 tomorrow, 10 to 8 Sunday, and 10 to 8 on Monday. But down to the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. And they have a Solterra there.
On the ground, in
On
person?
the ground, in person.
Not
you
a
can get in it. You
digital
can
thing?
sit in the back. You can lie down, take a nap. They'll probably kick you out if you take a nap in it.
Yeah, this is not.
But yeah,
the
you're gonna, if
Motel
you want to
6.
go and you want to sit in it and see what it's like and see how it feels, it's there. And we didn't even know about it as a retailer until about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
When it showed up. And if you look at it, one thing you're not going to find when you get down, there's not going to be any brochures. There's not going to be any information on it. There's not like a special Solterra huge building thing for it because they didn't know it was coming.
It just
It's
was there.
So, but it's exciting to be able to see it and be able to look at it because that car goes to production in March.
And I believe there's something early next week where we start lining up orders.
Yeah, we got notice that it got delayed by a week, so we're probably
Okay.
going to be 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks. We'll be able to start taking reservations. The reservations will be through Subaru of America, so you basically pay Subaru $250 to take one of our dealership's reservation spots. My
Gotcha.
guess is we're going to have probably 15 of them per store, somewhere in that range. But we'll do that, and then come April, you'll finalize your order and hopefully get it by summertime.
So if you hopefully get it by summertime, the fact that there is a physical one in person at the auto show might be your only shot to put hands on one before you
See it.
end up buying one.
I'm hoping that what they're trying to do is they're going to try and require every retailer to have one. So we'll probably
Okay.
have one in our SSLP fleet so we can show it to people, and we're going to be required to hold it for a year. So we'll have one to be able to show people at some point.
Yeah.
But you're still probably talking summer.
But who knows when?
Who knows
Yeah.
when? So if you want to see that car and touch it, you've got 3 days or 4 days till Monday.
And before
at the
we
auto show.
move on, the details on the Solterra it's really, really well designed. It's a cooperation with Toyota and Subaru.
But it's built by Subaru's built the suspension and the body for it. So the idea is Subaru built that thing to be a Subaru.
Yeah.
I mean, it's built to go. We saw the videos of it on. It's built to go off road. It's built to go in the mountains. They built it to be that car, not a city electric car.
Right.
It's Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive. It's got Subaru eyesight in it. I mean, the electric engine and all that stuff, that's built through Toyota.
Yeah.
So Toyota took that side of it, but it's going to be a cool car.
Well, and I've always been not a huge fan of the way electric cars look necessarily, but this is a sharp look.
It's a great
I
looking
like
car.
how it looks.
Yeah,
It
did
fits
a nice
really
job,
well
and-
into the Subaru family.
And I'll tell you, I was sitting at the auto show. I did 2 interviews about an hour apart, so I kind of just hung out in the booth trying to hear what people were saying about it, and people were liking the look.
You're impressed?
Yeah.
Good.
You got some questions about the range, just like anybody would, but the thing you got to look at with the range is that the range is 220 on a fully all-wheel drive car, and you're probably talking under 50 grand. Plus, you get a $7,500 credit from the government. So you're not talking an $80,000 car. If they wanted to make it a 350-mile range, they probably could have,
Yeah.
but it would
yeah.
have been 70, 80 grand.
Right. Right.
So the idea is they're trying to make it a more affordable car to try and get themselves in this versus making it the best range out there and making it 70, 80 grand where it's not in Subaru range. Because
Yeah.
in the Subaru world, we don't sell $70,000, $80,000 cars.
Right. And when we're talking about gas prices going to be over $4 at Memorial Day,
Yeah.
this is
Good
the
timings.
time if you've been thinking about it, but you've been holding out for it. This is it.
Yeah, and we've been pushing Subaru, and I've actually just got a spot back on the National Retailer Board. And we're really pushing them on the plug-in hybrid idea. Is
Cool.
that not only that we need electric car, we need the people who are worried about being in a pure electric car that want to have that gas backup to be able to get into an Outback, get into a Forester, get into those cars in that model with a plug-in, where you can have a car. Because when I drove my plug-in, we used to talk about it all the time. I used to get 1,000 miles on a tank on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until my wife drove it. She screwed up the gas mileage because if you slam on it, you get out of gas mode. And then you get like 300, 400, and it's sad.
George was driving one too for a little bit. I
George
believe.
still has his out there.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, George.
Well, yeah,
George still
I see it
driving
every day.
Yeah, he's our general sales manager at Town. He'll be filling in on the show from time to time.
Oh, does he know that?
He does know that.
Okay.
He's excited.
Is he?
Yeah, we'll put a piece of tape. And we'll put a piece of tape up here, and we'll block out my name for the days when he guest spots. We'll have guest spot logos.
All right, so there's the wheels segment for this week's edition of Sports Wheels and Reels. Coming up after these commercial breaks, this commercial break, we're going to talk about movies and shows. And what I always say is everyone's favorite pastime is just Netflix and chilling, but not that kind, kids. If you know what I'm saying, wink there.
This is a podcast.
Oh, here comes George. He's mad. All right, we'll be right back with some movie talk right here on Sports Wheels and Reels.
My name is Spencer Kofed. I'm an outdoor sports enthusiast, and my Subaru is Extreme Adventure. My hobbies include skydiving, skiing, wakeboarding, and surfing. The craziest thing I've done is probably just flying wingsuits. If I'm not jumping out of a plane, I like to get out in the mountains, whether that be hiking or mountain biking. Utah is just great, where you can easily access all these trails. Just drive out there with your buddy and go for a quick mountain bike. I personally would recommend the Subaru Outback. I am a huge fan. It's got the ground clearance, it has four-wheel drive, it has just enough space for all my gear, but it's not crazy big of a footprint, so you can drive around the city really easily. It's a great car. Outback's really great for my lifestyle because I love car camping, and I can put an air mattress in the back and sleep right there at the campsite. I almost never sleep in a tent now when I camp. I always sleep in the back of the Outback. I backcountry ski a lot here in the Wasatch, and I tour a lot, and to get there in a snowstorm I want something reliable, and the Subaru gets me to the trailhead, and then I can go hike and ski Utah's great powder. The reason I like working with Mark Miller Subaru is because they have such a commitment to the environment, and that's really important to me. If any of my friends are looking to buy a Subaru, I'd recommend Mark Miller Subaru. They have a promise price guarantee. It's just a really transparent experience. You never feel like they're hiding stuff from you, and it's just the easiest buying process. Whether it's skiing, skydiving, dirt biking, mountain bikes, surfing, and wakeboarding, my Subaru gets me out on my adventures. Subaru is a brand I trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the Utah retailer that I love.
Welcome back, Sports Wheels and Reels, here at Mark Miller Subaru, Jeff Miller Austin Horton. Let's talk about movies.
Reels time.
Reels. For real. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love watching them at home. I love watching them at the theater. It really doesn't matter. It's what I do. And I used to, when I was in my early 20s, when I was a single guy, I kind of felt guilty that was my favorite thing to do. Because I was young and athletic and I should be doing stuff.
But is it always the movie theater?
Mostly, yeah.
Love going to the movie theater.
In fact, I remember, when's the last movie you saw more than once in the movie theater? Do you remember? Where you thought, that was so good, I got to go again. Yeah.
I don't have time for that kind of stuff.
I know.
There's no way I've been to a movie twice in a movie theater. Maybe something my kids were watching.
I mean,
I saw... my kids made me go twice. It's probably had to be something like that.
I was going to say Frozen. I saw Frozen six times.
I probably saw Frozen twice in the theaters.
Right, yeah. Right.
That's probably one. That's probably my last one.
But now in this world, there's also
and now you get to watch them all streaming.
Yeah,
now you don't have to go to a movie theater anymore.
You don't have to, though. There are some movies you gotta see at the theater.
Like Top Gun when it comes out.
Yeah, or this latest James Bond.
Out?
Was going to be Memorial Day. I think now we're looking Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Next year. Okay.
Yeah, Larry Tassoni at Megaplex Theaters. He's watching. He'll text me.
Okay.
He'll tell us exactly when that is. But I want to talk to you about a couple movies that I've seen recently. I didn't tell you about this one in the outline for the show.
Okay.
But Tick, Tick, Boom.
I've heard about that.
Maybe the best movie I've seen in 5 years.
Okay, what's it about?
It is. Do you know the name Jonathan Larson at all? Do you know the show Rent? The musical Rent? He wrote Rent.
This is the one with Andrew Garfield in it,
Yep,
right?
he plays Jonathan Larson. It is the name of the play is Tick, Tick, Boom. He wrote it about himself trying to make it as a Broadway mind.
So it's not a play. It's about like behind the scenes of plays.
It's him writing this play that then ultimately doesn't get picked up.
Okay.
But that is called Tick, Tick, Boom. And it is inspiring. It's funny.
All right, I'm about to watch
It's
that
a
one.
true story.
I'll watch that one before next week. That'll be my homework
Yes,
for next week's
you
show.
You have to, for a date night this week is perfect.
Okay.
But I also watched Red Notice
I
recently
love Red Notice.
with Ryan Reynolds.
And I shouldn't love it, but I love
Why?
it.
Why shouldn't you love it?
It's because it's the cheesy action film, right? It's like
Yeah.
all the cheesy jokes, and it's like, but they work and they're funny. And those two
Yeah.
are really funny together.
Yeah. And Ryan Reynolds, I love Ryan Reynolds, don't get me wrong. But he sometimes or always plays the same kind of rhythm, no matter what character is. Even if he's Deadpool out of the Deadpool
Everything.
costume.
Yeah.
That's Ryan Reynolds in every movie. But it works. It's funny.
And I thought The Rock was awesome in it.
The Rock has come a long way.
He is a good actor.
Yeah, he didn't used to be.
And I thought the Gal Gadot,
Gal Gadot, yeah.
she was awesome too.
Yeah, she was terrific.
And I hear it's going to become sequels.
They just signed him up for 2 more, which might be a mistake.
No. That's such an easy concept to make into like 20 movies.
And it probably
it's going to be
does.
like Die Hard. You're going to have like Die Hard 17.
It wasn't
And I
that
loved
good.
every Die Hard.
Die Hard 3?
Oh, Die Hard, that's the New York one.
Yeah, you all right with
I
that
love the
one?
New York one. What, the Russia one?
No.
That's when you get like Die Hard 4, 5,
Yeah.
6. How many are there at least?
There's 5.
5?
Whoa. Well, there's one without Bruce Willis, isn't there?
There's a non-Bruce Willis Die
I
Hard.
think
That's
there is.
just sacrilegious.
Whatever.
That's not good.
Well, but that would be your popcorn movie of late is Red Notice. It's
Oh,
really good.
Very entertaining. Love that movie.
And then I
I would watch that.
challenged-
That's one of the movies I'd watch again. Like that's a movie
Yeah,
you
for
watch
sure.
over and over. That's not it's one that like when you get on iTunes, you don't push rent on that one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
buy that one because you're gonna want to watch it again.
That is one you can watch again and again.
See, that's how I watch movies. I'm not at the theater very often.
You just watch the same movies over and over?
No, but I buy them through iTunes or on
Yeah.
Netflix or Hulu.
Amazon Prime or
Yeah.
whatever. And then I gave you a homework assignment.
And I watched it last night.
The movie is called Ron's Gone Wrong.
Yep.
It is from Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Zach Galifianakis voices a
Bebop.
movable iPod
The Bebop.
Tamagotchi thing. Yeah, the Bebop. Yeah.
Bebop.
Bebot. And you tell us about it because I told you you're gonna laugh. Your kids will love it, and
It
I
was
was
awesome.
right.
We did a family movie night. We watched it all last night, and amazing movie. Like it tells a good story. There's a good message behind
Did
it.
Deanna like it?
Deanna loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone loved it. And the idea is that it's these little weird oblong-shaped creatures that are supposed to be like this social media amazing thing. It's your best friend.
Yeah.
It like plays with you, it can show movies, it can change what it looks like, and it's a social commentary on the idea that social media is taking over our lives and that technology is taking over these kids' lives and they're not actually looking for real friends. And whereas social media started off as a great thing, it started off as this idea of this way we can connect human beings and create it. The connection,
And then everyone's grandma got a Facebook and ruined it.
but
Sorry.
what they talk about with it is that the connections that we go out there become more about yourself versus the connection being about someone else out there. You're not
Yeah,
asking
right.
questions on social media about how your friends are doing.
Yeah.
You're talking about what you're doing.
Exactly.
It's about me, not about the person out there you're trying to connect
I'm as
with.
guilty as everybody.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool thing to make you think about that, and they put it in a kids thing, so maybe hopefully kids can start understanding that message.
And if they don't, if that falls on deaf ears, it's still really funny.
It's really funny. There's a
And
lot of funny moments in it,
entertaining,
and the robot that the kid gets is gone. It's broken, so it doesn't work right. So that's where most of the funny parts come in. Is it's like a misprogrammed robot
And
running around.
Do you ever watch Between Two Ferns? Is that Galifianakis? Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that?
Oh my gosh, it's like the funniest thing ever.
You picture him, but as a robot.
As a robot,
It's really
yeah.
funny.
Just going off and saying weird, crazy things that like an unprogrammed robot would say.
And that's where the poop mouth came up from. It's poop.
She got pooped.
So there you go. Your feel good, inspiring movie, Tick Tick Boom. Your popcorn date night movie, Red Notice, and your for everyone in the family, Ron's Gone Wrong.
Yeah, we should put out homework to anybody who's watched this podcast too. So like, tell us what you thought about those movies.
Oh, I'd love to hear
Yeah,
feedback.
so go to either our Twitter page or our Facebook page this week, comment on it, talk about what you said, and we'll share some of those comments next week.
And we're not above bribing you to follow us and comment
Yeah.
and make us aware that you like us.
I would say I'd keep an eye on our page over the next few days, and maybe you'll see some contests for some jazz tickets like we did a couple days ago. So keep an eye on that.
And before we wrap up today's episode, we got to give some stuff away already.
We do. Let me go and we'll find
Jeff
the list.
doesn't just give away. Like I was talking to Moises, our employee of the year, by the way, for 2021. Moises out there. He was saying, "What are you going to be giving away?" And I said, "Jazz tickets." And he said, "That's cool and all, but what can you do? What can you do better?" I said, "What can you do better than jazz tickets?" And he was talking about giving away like an employee's car for the day and be Jeff Miller for a week.
Give away your cross check for a day.
My cross check?
Yeah.
Over my dead body.
You'll let someone
I've
drive your
worked for
cross-
years for that thing.
Okay, so
It's not even here yet.
I'm going to scroll through all these names and stuff. Everyone who followed us and everyone who tweeted, I've got them on a list. I'm going to scroll through it and put my finger on one of them.
And no, my brother is not eligible. Sorry.
No employees are either. All right, our winner is Evan Heiler. So at Heiler Evan on Twitter.
My guy.
Big fan of the Jazz Bees and the Utes, so we'll direct message him and make sure he gets the Jazz tickets to the game on the Houston game on Wednesday.
He will. He deserves it. Evan's a good guy. I love you, Evan. All right, it's good to be back. Good to get episode 1 down. You mentioned there's going to be 3 Jazz games between now and our next show.
Yep.
We'll have a lot to talk about regarding that.
Yep.
And
We'll have some movies for next week we'll talk about.
And the auto show will be in the rear view.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that went.
We'll have some new car topics to talk to us about as well.
So get on Facebook, the Sports Wheels and Reels podcast. Give us a like and a follow. Find us on Twitter, the SWR podcast. Follow us there and
it'll be listed on all the podcast networks. It should be out by tomorrow.
find it wherever you find your podcast.
And share it with your friends.
Yep,
You might win some Jazz tickets.
Absolutely. He's Jeff Miller. I'm Austin Horton. For our crack squad behind the scenes, Mike Aguilar, Joseph Dane, and I guess Josh Goldsmith. We'll be back next week. Until then, Utah by 5.
Count on it.
Trust me.
Trust me. Shoot. I screwed it up already.
Love you, Tom.